Sitting on the bed, my naked back leaning back on my pillow with my head against the headboard, I stare at the bottle in my hand. When I grabbed the top shelf whiskey from Dad's liquor cabinet, I had every intention of swallowing the contents until I passed out. But here I remain, the black seal still intact 45 minutes later. I'm not an alcoholic. Do I have an addiction problem? Sure. Booze just isn't it. My wife is my kryptonite, both in good terms and bad. At least I can admit it. She, on the other hand, refuses to acknowledge that I'm her weakness or that she even possesses one. Sasha and my sister are alike in that sense. They're both determined to make sure every man in their vicinity knows there's not one weak bone in their body. In all honesty, it's the very reason I don't understand why they hate each other so much. Our cultures may differ in ways, but the lifestyle we grew up in did not. They're both fighters, independent, and opinionated. Where they differ is that Sienna wanted to be a full-fledged member of our family with equal say, whereas Sasha has never wanted anything to do with hers. For as far back as I can remember, I've always sympathized with her on the issue. My father has morals, and although I'm not blind to the bad things he's done, at his core, his heart has always been in the right place. Or so I've always believed. Sasha Nikolayev, my wife's father, is the opposite of mine. At least in all the ways Sasha has described him over the years. He's harsh and unforgiving. He expects the impossible. No, he demands the impossible and doesn't have an ounce of empathy within him. Tonight was the first time I've ever been in the same room as my father-in-law, yet none of those things shone back at me. Not that he spared me a glance. His winter blue eyes were mostly on his children or my dad. I didn't witness anything more than annoyance from the Russian-American Pakhan. When I announced to the whole room that Sasha was my wife, her father didn't even bat an eyelash. At the time, it didn't sink in, but now that the chaos is over and I've had time to replay what happened, I realized Mishka already knew that I was married to his daughter. There was not an ounce of shock on his face, nor my father's. They both knew. But for how long? And what was with that whole delivery aspect of what took place an hour ago? Sasha being brought here had obviously been planned between my father and hers, but why tonight? Why now? As my mind turns, the notification sound on my cell phone goes off, jarring me from my confused thoughts. There are cameras set up all around the exterior of Dad's house. When a car pulls into the driveway, I have the security feed set up to notify me immediately. It's the same setup for the club I own that I've yet to tell my wife about. Of course, if she acted like a real wife, that wouldn't be an issue. I was the one ready to tell the world we'd eloped, only to wake up the next morning to an empty bed and a missing bride. I was her dirty little secret. Snatching my phone off the nightstand, I click on the application and pull up the footage. It's a car I don't recognize, but that's all I can see since he parked at the end of the driveway, instead of pulling all the way forward. The chime on the door alerts me that an exterior door opened, and that's when it dawns on me that the driver is likely an Uber. If I had to place money on it, Sasha is the one that opened the door. Tossing my phone on the bed, I take off, sprinting out of my bedroom and down the stairs. Grabbing the handle on the front door, I twist and wrench it open so hard, it's a wonder the hinges didn't come off. I'm barefoot and lacking the shirt I was wearing earlier, but it's summer, so it doesn't matter. Hell, it wouldn't matter if it was the middle of February during a winter storm because I'd still do the same. I'd charge after my wife no matter where she was, or the conditions, or the goddamn consequences. "Oh, no, you don't," I bellow from behind her just before I snag her around the waist and haul her body back against mine, loving the feel of her athletic figure. "You're not going anywhere tonight, wifey." "Let go of me, Ren." The driver's eyes widen as she attempts to loosen my hold by pushing my forearm off. If she actually wanted to get out of this position, she's more than capable of making it happen. That's how I know she doesn't really want to leave. She likes to be chased, and like a pathetic dog, that's what I always do.